our livestock was kept in better conditions than the children.
What's good? Welcome to Fed by Fire. Let's check this out, guys.
A teenager who, according to investigators, couldn't even spell her own name, and a smell so bad, the Attorney General says he still can't shake it.
It was just a disgusting scene.
And now the adults who were supposed
I've seen
to be
people who
caring for
have
these
kids
children
like this.
are behind bars.
This is pure evil, what we saw down here.
Damn right. This reminded me of the House of Horrors. That shit that happened in California.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. You know, just when you think that you've heard it all, another case comes to light that makes you do a double take. And this story out of Ohio, it's one of those cases. It involves 16 children who were living in conditions that were so filthy and so deplorable, according to the sheriff, that most animals live better. In fact,
as a
the
father,
children
this
had been
fucks
living
you up.
in the small home for some time, and the sheriff said neighbors had no idea that children lived there. Imagine that.
This is
home
what
with
I
16
always
children
say.
living in it, and the neighbors had no clue.
If you see
The county
something, save
prosecutor
something.
Says one of the kids is actually 18, an adult, but developmentally, she's a child. She couldn't even spell her own name.
I pray
some
for
of the
that little
children
girl.
were in such bad shape
And I
that they
I
had
pray
to be
for all
flown
those
by
kids
medical
involved.
helicopter to a level 1 trauma center. Unbelievable.
It makes
That's
you
what
wanna
deputies
cry
in Vinton County,
that
Ohio,
there's
about
this type of
75
evil
miles
out
south
here.
of Columbus, found this week. Vinton is a rural county. Fewer than 13,000 people live there. Vinton County Sheriff said that deputies and state agents discovered the children on Tuesday, June 30th, while conducting another investigation. Here's Sheriff Ryan Kane.
All right, today on June 30th, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, along with the Ohio Bureau of Investigation, executed and is still continuing to investigate Omar Street in Hamden, Ohio. Upon searching the home, evidence of other crimes were discovered. It's currently an ongoing investigation, and my office is still
wonder if
processing
drug
the
use
scene and
was a
conducting
part.
interviews. My message to the community is that there is no outstanding threat. These are serious crimes and allegations that will be investigated fully. Our mission is to protect our citizens and our children. The scene is horrific, and these are horrific allegations. We will do anything in our power to hold those accountable to justice. I want to thank Ohio BCI, the Ohio Attorney General's Office, for working with us in this incident.
Pray for them
The Hamden
kids.
Fire Department, Vinton County EMS, Jackson County EMS, Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the Ohio Department of Watercraft and Parks, Ohio Wildlife, for assisting us today.
So the children were discovered because a search warrant was being executed on the home on Omer Street related to another investigation. But the sheriff won't comment
What's
on
the
what
other
that
investigation?
involves.
I want to stress that our focus right now is on the safety of the children. These kids are being evaluated medically, and we're trying to get them placed, and that is our primary concern right at this point.
And it should be.
I also want to stress this is not conduct that is acceptable in Vinton County. These individuals were not from Vinton County. This is not appropriate and certainly is not reflective of the Vinton County values.
The children were removed from the small house in the village of Hamden. They ranged in age from
Shit
1
is
and a
terrible.
half to 18 years old. Ohio's Attorney General says some of the children were in really, really bad shape. Here's AG Andy Wilson.
Agents from Ohio BCI participated in the search warrant this morning with deputies from the Vinton County Sheriff's Office. And when they went into
It's a
that
sad,
residence,
sad case, y'all.
16 children were removed from that residence. And I've been doing these types of cases for a long time. I spent a big portion of my career dedicated to prosecuting these types of cases. And I can tell you this is pure evil. What we saw down here
For sure.
today is pure evil. And I have to commend the deputies from the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and our agents from Ohio BCI and
Yeah, shout out to
who
them.
went into
Shout
really
out
kind of
to
one of the
them.
worst environments that I've seen in my career.
Pray for them kids.
And were there for those children in their time of
Like,
need. Those children are currently
God
being
watch
treated
over them.
at hospitals throughout the state. And this is, as you heard, an ongoing investigation.
I'll get into more of what law enforcement says they found in the house shortly. 4 adults lived in that house, the parents of the children and
4.
the grandparents. The parents of some of the children are believed to be Elizabeth Siders and Gary Siders Jr. The grandparents
seen this
are
whole
believed to be Gary
thing
Siders
before.
Sr. and Christina Siders. All 4 face 17 felony counts of child endangering. And more charges could
yeah.
be coming because this is just the beginning. The investigation is continuing. The sheriff says the house was beyond filthy.
I've seen livestock live, mostly kept better. As I was saying, most of our livestock was kept in better conditions than the children. It was extremely high presence, I'm sure, of bacterial and human feces. It was just a disgusting sight.
Ugh.
Can I ask you?
That reminds me of the girl that I used to be with. That reminds me of her cousins. They would piss in bottles and shit like that.
It was disgusting, even where the kids weren't.
Disgusting.
I would think it's typical. Most law enforcement have experience with
If you
homes
see
in
something,
a
say
similar
something,
fashion.
y'all. Call social services.
A large number of people, though, the children were kept in a roughly 12 by 12 area. It seems like is where they've spent the most of the last 4 years, and that's what it looks like. In a weird way, you're hit with two emotions.
As
There
a
is
father,
joy
this
when we
is
get
terrible.
when we realize that we're about to change 16 lives for the better, but you're also
Like,
it's hard.
damn.
So the kids, the sheriff says, were kept in a 12 by 12 room, and there was feces all over the place. The children were kept in absolute squalor. The attorney general says the children were essentially hidden.
I will tell you this, there isn't much evidence that kids live there. As we talked to some of the neighbors, we talked to some of the people from the neighborhood. These people have been here for about 4 years, and we've talked to some people who live in the neighborhood who said, I had no idea that kids were even home. And talking about, somebody asked about, to describe the conditions, adding on to what the sheriff said. I didn't actually go into the room where the kids were. I just looked through the door. That was yesterday. I can still smell. I can't get the smell. I cannot get the smell
Yeah.
off of me or away from me.
And y'all know
Just
that smell
talk
if
about
you've
that
been
a little
around
while.
it.
And then we were talking as a group
terrible
about
thing.
some of the evidence we looked at today, where they actually discovered the kids. And
My heart goes out to those
and
babies.
it really, it's not that different than those old commercials you used to see of like kids in Africa, like just where they're covered in bugs and squatting and had that like distant look in their eyes. It was terrible. I mean, it is absolutely terrible. And again, we've got to make sure the kids are safe. We've got to make sure they're placed in good, solid therapeutic placements. And we have to hold accountable the people who are willing to do this.
Fuck
to their
yeah.
The 4 Siders family members appeared in Vinton County Court on those 17 child endangering charges.
Sorry,
the AG
guys, you
says the
can't
family
see
has
it.
moved around a lot. They've been in Gallia, Jackson, and Pike counties, and even Wisconsin at one point, but they've been in Vinton County for at least the last 4 years. Back in 2021, the Pike County Sheriff posted on Facebook about Gary Siders Jr. The sheriff said he was requesting warrants for Siders Jr. for felony theft and receiving stolen property because items stolen from a construction site had been recovered from the home where he lived. But the children haven't been to school. Law enforcement says there are no medical or school records for them, and they're still looking into all of that. So I could think of no one better to take a look at this case and analyze it for us than Mark Weaver. He works as a special prosecutor in the state of Ohio, sometimes sits as a judge, and he has worked cases down in the area where this happened. He's also the author of a new book entitled God Bless America, 250 Years Strong. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first, Mark, your reaction to this case. I'm shocked by it. Every time I think I can't be shocked, I'm shocked. Because I can't imagine 16 children ranging in age from 1.5 to 18 living in a house.
Tell me in the comments. We all know a family like
right,
this.
I have prosecuted
Tell me
cases
in the
not that
comments.
county, but in
Who
counties
from
surrounding
your
that.
life?
This
who
is
does this remind
Southern
you of?
Ohio. This is Appalachia. That doesn't excuse anything. It's just
That's where we at right
explanatory.
now, baby. Appalachia.
Families with that many children in Appalachia is already pretty unusual. You don't see families
Like hell.
with 7, 8, 9, 10 or more children typically in Appalachia. And then
You go to
if you
Sam's
do, you
Club
certainly
around
wouldn't
this
see them
motherfucker.
confined
I'll
in such
change
a
your
small
mind.
room or such a small house. This is one of the smallest counties in Ohio, Vinton County, one of the poorest counties in Ohio. It came as no surprise to me that the Vinton County prosecutor is partnering with the Ohio Attorney General office, where I used to work as the Deputy Attorney General, because there's many more resources available, both through the state's Bureau of Criminal Investigation, which is the premier unit of investigators in the state, and through the Special Prosecution Section of the Attorney General's office. So normally a small town prosecutor's office like Vinton would have 3 or 4 prosecutors who do felony cases at most. So they're going to need the help of the Attorney General's office to bring this significant case with lots of evidence and lots of troubling details.
Let's break this down a little bit because it's beyond troubling. The entire reason that they discovered this, that the children, and the Attorney General Andy Wilson described this as something like out of a third world country. He described it like those old commercials you'd see, and sometimes you still see them, where you had the starving children in Africa, and you've got the kids with, and you've got these poor starving children, and their eyes, they're staring
it is sad,
into
though.
the camera,
That's
and the
not a
flies are
laughing
flying
matter,
around, that
like,
kind of thing. The sheriff said
if
they
you
walk
don't
in,
want
there's a 12 by
kids,
12 room, and there's
any of you guys
feces,
out
and,
there,
I mean, it
if
sounds,
you
just beyond
don't
disgusting what they
want
described.
kids,
But
there's
they were
somebody out
doing a
there that'll
search warrant
fucking
on
take care of
another
them.
investigation. They were investigating another crime, and they won't say what it was. And they go in and they find a 12 by 12 room, they say, with kids, and one of them they say is near death.
Yes. I was talking to Attorney General Wilson last week on another matter. I had no idea this would come up, but I'm glad he's there. Andy Wilson is an experienced prosecutor, and he's been appointed
Hope
as
they
our Attorney
prosecute
General in the interim
them
because the
motherfuckers
one
to
who's
the
elected
fullest extent of the
decided
law.
to take another job. So he's our short-term Attorney General, but he really is well-suited to handle this case, and I'm glad that he showed it such a high priority. We do need to know more facts. I expect the defense lawyers
Yeah, give us more.
for these people who
Look at that old man.
will ask
Damn.
for a bill of particulars, which is
Talking
a more
about-
detailed
I'm no model, but
description
talking
of
about
crimes
getting hit
being
with the
alleged.
fucking
I've
ugly
read the
stick.
indictments. They're rather pro forma, meaning they're simply saying the required elements of the statute, child endangerment, which is a second-degree felony in this case.
They
So
deserve
we're not getting a
more
lot
than
of
that.
insight from the records that have been released so far.
Yeah, we're getting nothing. We're getting nothing except it's literally like the bare bones complaint that they gave us. We have no info other than what they've told us, and I think part of that is because they were caught by surprise when they went in there. They're looking for X, and they find A through L or whatever.
Yeah.
They find 16 kids when they go in there, and they're looking for whatever else they were looking for in
Well,
the first place.
guys,
And,
you
they
guys
find
get the
feces, a
gist.
floor falling
We will
apart,
be
16
following this
kids, one or
case
two of them
as it goes
in really bad
along.
shape. Now they
Like
have
and
to find
subscribe.
homes for these
Thank you
16
for
kids.
watching.
And the big question